our little practice with some stillness and some movement.
Okay, I have to, in about 45 minutes, if I disappear, it's to get something out of the
Do
oven.
whatever you need to do, because I know if you're cooking, you got to do your thing. I just was telling Juan, I was like, I'm going to go get my pie and get it ready because I'm getting picked up by some friends and, or some family. So yeah, it's Thanksgiving Day. And so do what you need to do. And, we'll mute ourselves when we're not talking. So we won't have background noise. And we'll have this beautiful hour of, practice together. So just finding your spot, your spot to start. And you could be standing, or you could be lying down, or you could be seated for now, because we're just going to reflect for a moment, just kind of start to take this create this intentional invitation to come into the body. I have some chimes on back here, but I think I'm going to stop them. So we have relative silence, right? We can't control it, but let's just notice what's happening here, in your environment first, maybe like what's happening around, if you have a sense of some safety and calm in the space that you're in. I hope you do. And that's something to be grateful for straight away, right? That we do that at this moment, the three of us and the others who join us will have some time to do this thing that's maybe uniquely human, maybe not, but like this reflecting, this kind of self-care that is reflecting. And so for me, it's a big change because I don't know about you, but my consciousness always moving outward, right? Always finding projects, ways that can make the world a better place, right? The mind. I mean, it's great, right? Outward moving, but that's not what this practice is for right now. This is for the inward moving, for the rejuvenation and like putting your cell phone on the charger, not really to compare you to a cell phone, but like to rejuvenate, to charge, and also to reflect. But so let's maybe put a hand on the body somewhere if that feels okay. For me, my chest, upper chest, heart is kind of calling for a little awareness and just, feeling the body as a whole, sensing the whole body, seeing if you can find some stability, whether it's standing or seated, and some measure of ease in this posture. And we'll move in a moment, but let's just set the mood for our session. Just set the intention. And it's, Thanksgiving here in the US. And I had this I have pretty cynical mind. And so I don't know what how it really began, the Thanksgiving, but there is the true harvest celebration everywhere, right? No matter what's going on in the world, right? No matter how gruesome or how buoyant, right? No matter how joyful or incredibly tragic the circumstance, we do share food, don't we? We come together and we are grateful for the relationships that make our survival possible here, literally, that make food for us to eat, right? So we just start to reflect on what the bodies are made of, right? They're made of the earth, literally, right? They're literally made of the earth, these transient bodies that, ashes to ashes, right? They'll go into the earth at some point. The one I call mine, the one you call yours, the one we call all of us will be, into the earth, just like the food that we eat, up and down and just recycling. But then there's, so there's all that, right? The muscles and bones, and they're holding this whole human experience, right? The body's kind of holding it here. And so, I do like to think that whatever Thanksgiving, I would like to extend, right, the intention that whatever Thanksgiving we're celebrating, or whether it's alone or together, that we're cultivating this beautiful love in our bodies and in our hearts. And why not for our bodies too, and for our hearts? So we'll just let the belly soften a little bit. We'll let the heart soften. Maybe I'm doing just a little rocking, like from toward heel and toe. Just a soft back and forth. Right, bringing this self-compassion into the body. Right, coming away from everything that holds us separate from love. Right, so unforgivenesses, anger, resentments, right? All those can be present. They will make room for them. There's definitely space for all of it. But here, let's cultivate some self-compassion for all that we hold on this day in our minds and hearts. Some self-compassion, some real soft, tender understanding for all that we hold. Some are working through great tragedies in this moment, great tragedies, holding things that seem impossible to hold, right? Illness. So we're making space for love to inhabit the body, the mind, in order to bravely be with life and be with each other. Yeah, so let's open the arms and we'll just let our arms float out wide because we're going to move with this intention, right? And then exhale, let's just cross the arms across the body and bend the knees. And we'll come into a little forward. I guess a little, not really a slouch, but a little lifting of the face. And I'll show you from the side what I'm doing, just a little bending, a little curling. Like the leaves or the trees opening in the wind, a little opening up, just gently, and a little rounding, and trying out some different distances for the feet. So they could be wider or narrower, and this time just stay for a moment in the open position. Just letting your awareness rest toward the sky. Letting the back of the body support the front of the body, right? The strong back of the body, letting the heart rest in the sun. Right? Bringing loving kindness into the territory of the heart, bringing understanding into the heart with each breath in your own way. And then let's bring hands to the heart again and let's step the right foot back. So we're going to do a little lunging, and I'm going to turn my mat so you can see well. And I'm just going to switch the camera to this. So come on back to your mat and step your right foot forward and your left foot back. Now, so we're in Warrior One. I'm going to fix my camera so you can see my feet, because that's the important part if you want to see anything. Right, so Warrior one foot in front of the other. Right, so it could be long or it could be shorter, but the heel's under the knee. And we're just going to find our feet here. Just find our feet. No big athletic thing. But like you're surfing, I don't know, I'm not a surfer, so I don't know if it's really like surfing, but balancing on 2 feet with the front knee bent and maybe the back knee bent at first, just to find the weight and really letting the weight come down into the body, visiting the lower body with this lovely calm awareness, kind awareness. Yeah, and just sensing into thighs, pelvis, knees, and feet. Yeah, and bringing the arms up overhead for a moment. Resting the arms and floating them up. Just exploring warrior one. Resting the arms and floating them up. And you can do this in whatever way you can. You could hold a chair, but you can feel how we're getting a squeeze to the back of the body. It's so needed for the health of the whole spine, right? The whole support system. One more time. Just softly arms up. Softly arms up. Just some loving kindness, calmness through the awareness and the breath, right? Bringing the arms down. Let's go the other way. Take a little break, take a little pause here, just feet side by side. I'll bring the rest of my body back after we take the lunge. So let's turn the other way. So we'll have the left foot forward and the right foot back. And we're in this lunge. And it might need to be much narrower at first, right? And maybe it's both knees bent, balancing like on a skateboard or a surfboard. Or maybe you feel like, oh no, I can come down into here and really start to feel sensation in the lower body, but accommodating, right, what is. And we can bring our arms up overhead. And I'll tell you, my arms are bent overhead. I don't feel the need to have them straight. Just bringing them up overhead is really great. Let's try it a couple times. So with your breath, the arms will come up. And down. Adjust the feet. Up once more. You might stay for a few breaths with the arms in the up position. We're cultivating some ease and stillness. Then we're going to step that foot forward again and just stand. Just stand and rest. So you might feel like the back needs a little forward bend too, because that was a bit of a back bend, wasn't it? So see if you want to take a little forward bend. I like to put the hands on the belly to just bring awareness to the belly and the lower back and the way they work together. We can take a seat in chair pose if you like. We're going to sit low. And push through the legs to come up. You can do this with the arms overhead, sitting low. And coming up. Okay, just standing again. So we're waking up the lower body. Just resting and standing. Good, now a bit of balancing. Arms just a little wide. Eyes resting. Loving kindness. It's one of the few things we humans make, right? The earth really makes our food and our clothing, all our construction. We do sort of arrange it. But one of the things we really help to make is loving kindness, right? Imagination, equanimity, these qualities of the heart that we can generate. Not that we originated them, but we can generate them, these qualities of kindness and tenderness. We can self-generate, right? Let's take this nice kind of fullness in the solar plexus that we might feel, that we can generate through loving kindness toward the body. Right, come on back. So we're gonna just tip the same way a few times. Coming back. Right, so a lot of us have kind of programming that's very like maybe critical or judgmental, kind of a colonization of the body, of body mind. And we're retraining to a colonization, not a colonization at all, but to a new paradigm of kindness, being fed by the earth and sky, right? A returning to the mother, right? To the earth, rather than this like, oh, I'm not good enough, right? So this whole practice is coming from this generous connection, right? To all things. That's what we're really celebrating, right? Our connection to all of life and our ability to extend love and receive love, right? In many ways, right? So we'll go to the side again, right? Like a star radiating this beautiful life energy. Just taking care of the mind by seeing that it's tending to the body and the breath, that it's staying with the herd, staying with the sheep, the well-being, the intention for well-being, coming back, and we're just training the mind a little bit to just be a bit flexible in the areas of love, right? Opening, let's go the other way. So this little sideways balancing, we start with maybe hands at the heart or hands on the hips, and we come to wide arms, maybe with a foot off the ground, or maybe with the toe touching the ground. But oh, so nice for the hips. Such good therapy for the hips. Try it again. This is called Ardha Chandrasana. Half moon. You can stay for a bit, and this is such a good thing for us to play with regularly, right? It's like I'm a little teapot. Now we can do this with the feet on the ground. Shall we do it like triangle pose? And go a little wider maybe for me. And then I can go to the side with the ear toward the ground, just gently. Maybe hand on the belly, hand on the lower back, right? And as we inhale, we can feel the body engaging to draw us up really naturally, right? Soft bend, and letting the breath out, right? And then soft in breath. As I come up, right? The breath comes in, right? Exhale, the breath goes out. Good, and we can stay for a few breaths in the side bend, turning the head. And then coming slowly up. Let's go the other way, but first take a wide stance and absorb the energy from triangle pose. Right, so without forcing, let's go the other way. The arms could go wide as we bend to the side, but let's not lean on them. Inhale, we'll come back up. It's a great season for triangle pose. It's like a pine tree, like a Christmas tree. Yeah, you can stay feeling this nice squeeze. So we're trying to get a nice squeeze in the hips, right? Some different stimulation for the hips. So it's really not about getting close to the floor or close to the leg that you're bending toward, just this wonderful stimulation for the joints and for the knees, the ankles. It might feel good to go deeper, but really feeling into the whole body. Let's stay with triangle pose a little bit more. Let's take the arms wide. Just stay here with arms wide. Just turning your face to the right. Wiggle the fingers. Yeah, inhale, turn the head back to center. Just chin down a little bit, long through the back of the neck. And exhale, just face to the left. We can soften the arms a little bit, maybe even circle the wrists, right? We can flex the hands. And we can rest the arms, of course. Come back to feet side by side. Good, and let's take a little walk, more like a little hike or a march, where we're gonna let our eyes be fixed, and we're gonna let the right knee lift and the left arm. And then we'll come to two bent knees so we can go the other way. So it'll be right arm, left knee. And bending. Take this at your own pace, right? Inhaling, nourishing the body with kindness. Right where there could be dullness, right where there could be judgment, boredom, I can bring in some loving kindness, as well as kindness for others, but that's for a little bit later, because the body needs our attention now. It needs your loving kindness, doesn't it? It needs your collaborative effort. Good. Now you might feel how the knees would really like to engage with the hips. So holding with the knee up, if you take your opposite hand to your knee, you can give just the slightest draw toward the center line with this lifted knee, just the slightest pull toward the heart. So left knee toward the center or right knee toward the center. And take a few breaths, one at a time, opposite hand to knee, with just the slightest twist beginning. Now this is going to help us digest this twisting of the whole intestinal region, right? Switching again. And switching one more time. Good, now let's come to standing again. Just stillness. Now, seeing if you can help the bones, right, to support the energy that's in the body. You know, the kind of weather systems that are in your body, mind right now. Can you help create a stable support for it all to be held beautifully, generously, kindly, nurturingly, softly, tenderly, any of those, patiently. Good. Now let's take a little forward bend in pyramid pose. So the same way that we stepped a foot back in warrior one, this time let's step the right foot back and we'll put it more or less behind the left. So we've got two long legs as if you're walking across a fence or a rope, a tightrope. Now, you might not be able to have one in front of the other. You might have to go a little wider. Whatever works is great. And we're gonna fold toward the front leg with both legs long. That might mean both knees a little bent, or it might mean both legs pretty long, not really locked, but long. We're gonna inhale and come up. So I don't know, I always think of an ironing board in this pose. And domesticated, but yeah, a long table with two long legs. Inhale, coming up. Good, now we can take this with the arms back or the arms wide, this little forward bend. Now as I'm looking down at the left foot, I'll just keep my spine long. I can feel my belly drawing in. I can feel my breathing. Good, and then with an inhale, I'll just come back up and come to 2 feet. Just to let the energy move through again. I'll just accommodate the easy breathing. And then I'll take the other side, right? Right foot forward, left foot back. So this is called pyramid pose. And you'll often see this done with people with their hands behind their back. And if your arms are real flexible, your shoulders are flexible, you could certainly do that. But you could also do in front. I like in front because it's stabilizing for the spine to have something even, and sort of squared off a bit can help. And so we'll inhale to come up. So it's even weight on the feet, and it definitely takes some balance, right? So I have this intention for some stillness in the mind, in the nervous system. And we'll come up with the in-breath. And on the last one, we might hold for a little bit. Good, and when you're ready, come slowly up and rest again with the feet just side by side. Arms could be at the sides, or you could stay with the hands in prayer position. Just feeling the effects of these standing postures and the way they engage, right? Sending energy in the legs and feet. I have one more for us. If it feels like your back is okay. I know sometimes if the back is a little out of whack, the standing postures can be really no fun. So maybe it's too much. If it is, start to come down to the ground, because that's where we'll head in a moment. But if you feel good and sort of like, oh, this is bringing energy into my lower body, then we'll do one more standing posture, and I'm gonna turn my mat for this one. So it's the same posture. I should have 2 mats and then I wouldn't have to turn it. I'll do that next time. So it's the same posture, but we're gonna bend forward with a little twist. Parsvottanasana with a little twist. So let's start with left foot forward. And again, it's mostly one foot in front of the other. And this time in our forward bend, we're going to turn toward the front leg. So in this case, I'll turn toward the left, right? So there's a soft inhale and I'm finding awareness, right? Evenness, cultivating evenness through the feet and the toes, and I'm folding forward. And then I'm just going to take a little look to the left. And then inhale, I'll come back up. So it's the forward bend with a little twist. Right, long length through the crown of the head, turning the head, and coming up. And on this third one, perhaps staying a little longer, depending how you feel in this forward bend, you might open your arms. If you feel real stable and you wanted to, take your left arm up and your right arm down. You could, or you could stay in the prayer position. And when you're ready, come up. So you want to come up before you break down. So there can be some evenness, some care, consistent care, right? Let's try the other side. Right foot forward. Hands at the heart. Right, so it's a little forward bend. One foot in front, right? Sensing the feet on the ground. And this time there'll be a little turn. My turn's very not much, because this is kind of newer in my practice. I haven't done this really consistently ever. Confessions of a Yogi, but it's really so necessary, I'm finding. The standing twist. Parsvottanasana with a twist. And on the last one, like I said, if it makes sense to open the arms, you could certainly do that. The right arm might come way up, or like mine, you might just start it out just a little to the side. Coming up when you're ready. Coming into standing. Deep, easy breaths. Great. So next, because you did so much beautiful work for the legs, the feet, the hips, the knees, we're going to put our legs up as we lie down. So come first down to your knees, and then we'll strategize about how you're going to put your feet up. But let's take a little forward bend here on the knees, a little backward bend and a forward bend here on the knees. So we'll come down to two knees, about hip width apart, if you can kneel. If not, we're heading down to the floor, so you can make your way slowly down. Right, so again, we're just taking really good care of ourselves here. So there's nothing that's required except for that. You could just watch and breathe and feel like, oh, these are people taking care of themselves. That's a good video, right? Just people taking care of themselves while breathing, directing loving kindness, patience, equanimity, right? Compassion toward these, right into these bones, right into the marrow of this body, because you can, right? And then let's take the right arm up toward the sky, and we're going to just bend forward. So you're going to bend at the hips and just take a little forward bend with this right hand coming to your back and your face turning to the left a little bit. And we'll take this forward bend a couple times, right? So we'll inhale the right arm up overhead. And then exhale, we'll turn another forward bend with a twist. Inhale, lifting from the heart. And folding. Once more. Soft in-breath brings us up. And folding. And then we'll go the other way in a moment. So hips are up, faces to the left. Let's turn the face to the right. And as we come up, we'll bring the left arm toward the sky. Inhale, coming up. Good. And folding, heart forward, face to the right. Inhale coming up. And exhale, face to the right. So this is such a powerful forward bend. If you can be on your knees. This is from my teacher, Mark Whitwell, and his teacher, Jessica Char, and his teacher, Krishnamacharya, who's the father of modern yoga. This is a wonderful handed down vinyasa. So we'll take it home and we'll do it again next week. This one, I'll bring it back. So now this can be done with both arms and the forehead coming toward the floor. But that first version gives us the opportunity to twist. So you could do a few more with the twisting or a few with both arms. Okay, turning the head. Beautiful. So we're going to come down to our seat now. Right? You can feel the length from the crown of the head to the tailbone that forward bend on the knees creates. Now, if you have something where you could put your feet up on like a couch, I have something in front of me here so I could put my legs up. If I scoot forward, I can just put my legs up on like a chair. And I think that would be really great for a few minutes, considering all the work you did on your feet, and maybe you're going to do more work in the kitchen. So this could be done with legs on a chair, or this can be done with legs on the wall. I don't know how far my camera will reach over here, but I have a wall over here. I think it'll reach. So this would be, legs straight up on the wall, if you can see, right? And that's obviously a little more direct, more extreme angle, more extreme flow, but we're going to take a few minutes of rest like that. And even something small like a cushion or a little tiny stool could work, just to elevate the legs while we rest the back. So finding a way to let the back body just relax, the whole body. You might squeeze the face and let the face relax, right? Some yoga for the head and neck. Right? You might lift your head for a moment, right? Chin toward the chest, giving the head a little turn and a little nod. Gentle nodding can be so good for the throat and the neck. Yeah, you can nod your way all the way to the other side. Yeah, and then you can lay your head back down, taking some deeper breaths. Letting this gentle slope or more extreme slope do the work of nourishing. You're cultivating some loving kindness toward whatever is present in the body-mind. Perhaps you have grief present, or anger, or deep sadness. Let's direct some loving kindness directly toward what is really nesting with what is. All of it, just all of it. Generating love toward everything that lives within the territory of your body, mind, the one you take care of. In your own way, in your own language. Doesn't have to be a language you even understand. Loving kindness can flow in probably infinite ways. Mm. Just letting this awareness deep within each of us, this loving awareness, just letting it notice sensation, making sure the breath stays at ease. If the breath isn't at ease, let's comfort the body in some way that can help the breath to be at ease. Sometimes a little like sandbag, a heavy weight on the body, like folks like a weighted blanket can help the body to be at ease, or a hand, or a eye pillow. You can play around with that. What might help the breath to be at ease? And then the calmness can extend toward the thinking mind that really is just giving back what it's absorbed, right? It's the planning mind, the thinking mind. Very busy, right? They're holding a whole lot of stuff. That mind can be met with such embodied love. It's a kind of forgiveness, isn't it, when the heart comes to meet whatever, when the heart extends itself. It's a kind of forgiveness. We'll take another minute or so, minute or two with the legs up. I don't want to rush it. You deserve much more, maybe 3 or 4 minutes here, maybe 20, I don't know. I'll take a little more time here. Just letting the body bathe in the warmth of compassion, loving kindness. Mm. Take another, 30 seconds or a little bit of time with your legs up. And maybe later today you'll put your legs up again, or maybe I don't know, but do it again soon. I want to have time for us to do a little twist and a couple more movements. So take your time to come down to the floor and lying on your back. Yeah. And if you want to bring your knees to your chest or anything like that, feel free. We're going to take a little twist. So we'll start with our feet on the edges of the mat and the arms wide. And the twist is going to be knees to one side and then knees to the other. But let's go to the same way a few times. So try knees to the left with the feet nice and wide, so there's lots of room around each leg, around each foot. And we'll let the inhale bring the knees up. So the inhale will let the knees come back to upright. And we'll go the same way again. using the in-breath to bring the knees up, letting the out-breath bring the knees to the side. Maybe turning your head in the same direction to the left. So inhale, head to center. Exhale, knees to the left and face to the left. Inhale, knees to center, right? It starts in the core. The core engages to keep the movement smooth, right? So you can stay for a few breaths or you could move a few more times. And then in a moment, we'll do that same movement over to the right. And when the knees go to the right, we'll let the face turn to the right. And inhale. Right, when we draw the inhale, we draw it from really the whole of the cosmos, right? From the oceans and sky, from the air we breathe, it can't really be reduced to, the nourishment that we receive through these breaths is so essential, it's so holy. And then linking up to that, your natural breathing is really just this beautiful thing, right, to come into contact with, right? Staying in the twist or moving some more. Yeah, and so you can go side to side. I love this twist. I just think it's kind of daily maintenance, this twisting. It's a pretty safe one for most of us. Of course, there are so many ways we can twist and wring out help the organs to stay healthy by squeezing and turning. Now, another twist you might love is knees together, up toward the chest and over, let's say toward the opposite elbow to one elbow. This is another really wonderful twist that you could try a few times. Each way, where your knees stay together and your feet are off the ground. So it's a very different twist that also has great benefit. And we're squeezing and twisting. Good. But you might not like that one. Hopefully there's one that feels appropriate. Let's bring our hands and our knees together. Hands straight up in the air, knees together, feet on the ground. And as you inhale, lengthen the right leg and open the left knee as you open the arms. With your out breath, bring the knee up and close the arms. Right, feeling this great abundance available to the heart mind, right? And releasing, right? Inhaling. And exhaling. Good. Inhaling. Stay this time. We're going to switch legs. So close again. And straighten the left leg. On the next inhale, open the right knee. Exhale, close. Good. Inhale, open. And exhale, close. And especially once we start to relax into the breath, which happens now that it's been almost an hour, right? We really want to let the breath expand, really rest into it. It's part of the reason it's good to make time for our practice, because we start to really rest into this spaciousness and also this healing energy. This potential healing, right? So let's try this movement with both knees bent. And then we'll rest, right? We'll open the knees, soles of the feet together. Close the knees, close the hands. Be patiently, slowly, linking with the great abundance that's available. The healing abundance. Inhale, open. Good. And when you're ready to take Shavasana, you might like to take a couple more of these. But when you're ready, take a resting pose, whatever you like. Now letting the body rest flat. Or I shouldn't say flat, letting the body come into stillness. I'm going to sit so I can talk to you. I could talk to you while lying down, but I'm going to sit. But you take whatever feels most restorative. Actually, I lied. I'm going to lie down too, because it really does feel important to stay on the ground for a moment and let this all take shape, right? Let the energy of how you've moved and aligned, let it really integrate. So let's squeeze the body once or make any adjustments. Let the hands relax, the face relax. We're just going to take about 5 minutes of stillness. So let's take a nice long in-breath and an equal length out-breath. And then go back to natural breathing. Good. Take another long in-breath, followed by an equal length out-breath. And back to natural breathing. And one more time, a long in-breath. An equal length out-breath. And back to natural breathing. Just letting that pure radiance, your awakeness, spend some time cherishing this moment exactly as it is. Letting the thinking and planning mind just take the back seat for a few minutes. Just seeing if you can ask the thinking and planning mind to just hold back for a few more minutes so the heart mind can take care of what is. So loving kindness can be with what needs to be held, what needs to be known. Right, resting in this kind of cherishing or practicing to sense this aspect within that can really be a part of healing, right? Be a part of repair, right? Be a part of creation, right? Be a comfort, a source of peace. Good. So taking your time, if you have a few more minutes to just stay on the floor, you could give the body a little rub, even a little tapping if it feels good. Some people do like a dry brushing, right? That's really good for the circulation, for the endocrine system as well, right? So that's a good thing in the winter. I actually have one, I think, over there to help the skin wake up, right? As well as help the circulation, feed the support our circulation, right? So you can do that with your hands too. Just a little gentle rub. Yeah, and coming up to seated in your own way, nice and slowly, easily, right? And just bowing to each other, this Sangha, this online Sangha today, that we're cultivating a deep kind of gratitude, right? Cultivating a joy, infinite joy and abundance from within, right? A flexible and radiant mind. So thanks everyone. Thanks for being here. Happy Thanksgiving if you're celebrating Thanksgiving today, and much gratitude for your heart.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful.
I'm so glad you were here. Such a